This is the King of Average.
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 Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the King of Average podcast. Take it away.
Welcome back, guys, to another exciting episode of the King of Average podcast with your host, Malik, and the lovely
BB.
Sweet, man. So today's going to be, guess what? Another exciting episode, baby. Let's freaking get this started. So
ready.
there is a line that I love, and it's actually today's topic, and it's know yourself, know your worth. And believe it or not, I got it from a Drake song.
I was going to say, continue the bars, bro.
You know what I'm saying? But so I thought about it the other day when I was just driving in the car, because that's when the best conversations that you have with yourself, with the boys, typically arise from. And I was having it, and I was like, man, the whole concept of respect is important, but then, like, do you really know yourself? You want other people to know what you like and what you don't like, so that way they don't outstep their boundaries and so on. But do you actually know yourself that well? Do you know your own boundaries? Do you know what you like, what you don't like, and so on? In order for it to be in some sort of way forced onto others, or at least not, I want to say enforced because it sounds kind of aggressive, but I'd say more expected from other people. So I guess with the whole word association, dude, what's the first word? Not phrase, just word. When you hear the phrase, know yourself, know your worth.
Women's rights.
What?
Women's suffrage.
Oh, okay.
Women have no humor.
Sorry. If you're gonna say it, bro, I say it with a straight face, dude. Own it.
Not with a gay face.
Know yourself.
Know yourself. Yeah, dude. Women have no sense of humor. Absolutely.
How'd you get that from that? But that's just part of the game, I guess. I'm not gonna be asking.
What were you asking? What was your question?
So when you hear the phrase "know yourself, know your worth,"
okay,
what word?
You want me to come up with a single word as a response?
Yes, not a phrase.
Here's the thing. I don't mind laughing at my own jokes.
Yeah,
because the thing is like when I don't laugh at my own jokes, most people are just like, "Yo, this dude's kind of like, he looks kind of serious," so they take the joke seriously.
I feel like you gotta make sure you gotta have the person think that. Are you actually serious?
Yeah.
A straight face.
But the difference is I look like the 20th hijack.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. We gotta run that back, dude. So you want to come up with a one-word response?
Yeah, it's honestly not that hard because
I keep forgetting the question, to be honest. Know yourself, know your worth. One-word response: confidence. Confidence. Can I expand on it now?
Of course, do it.
Thanks, honey. So what I think, yeah. So whatever it comes down to, and then just like based on some of the notes, I keep running back this idea of like being confident in yourself and being confident in the decisions you make in everyday life. You know, something as basic as like, oh, what t-shirt am I wearing? You know, instead of running through like 18 shirts, you just grab one, put it on, move on with the rest of your day, right? Or it's like, what am I ordering at Starbucks? Or something as complicated as, you know what, should I invest into this or should I invest into that, right? Having that confidence, it always kind of like connects back to this idea of knowing your worth, because when you have confidence in your decisions, it almost shows that you're very okay with the outcome, because you know that the outcome has to do with what you want the outcome to be, right? And, you know, apparently I'm indecisive because according to some expert, you know, my Gemini moon determined that I was a very indecisive person, right? And I'll drop the information for the expert below. But what's it called? You know, like, I don't even know if I was trying to connect it, to be honest.
Dude, shout out ADHD.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so just having confidence in your decisions. You know, obviously it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, bro, picking a shirt is so insignificant. You can't say I'm an indecisive person because I want to, you know, figure out my outfit. I mean, yeah, true. But at the same time, you know, it could be just one of those things where, why are you overcomplicating something as simple as picking out a shirt? Why aren't you just putting something on, moving on with your life? You know?
I liked when you linked it to like choosing something and sticking to it.
Right. And the cool thing is like the way it also connects really well, these simple decisions, when you understand that your worth is not attached to what shirt you decided to wear today, then you have a better understanding of what your worth is.
Have you ever been to like a spot and you've been choosing prior to going to that spot, to the outing, to the date, or to the wedding, or to whatever event it is, and you were choosing between two outfits, or maybe in this case 2 shirts? Were you ever put in a position where you're there at the outing or on that date or anything else, and you're like, I totally should have worn that other shirt?
No, not really. Not really, because it's
Because I'm not a woman.
yeah. No, not really. I haven't really experienced that, because usually after I get a solid outfit on, I kind of just, I don't know, like after I've especially for like an outing, right? If it's like a casual shirt, like, you know, what I want to wear at the gym or something, then maybe. But if it's like an outing, the moment I put that outfit on, I'm owning that outfit.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm walking different. You know what I'm saying? My posture is different. I'm owning that outfit. If someone's gonna come to me and be like, "Oh, like, you could have paired that better with like something," it's like, yeah, dude, you could have.
Say it. Say it. You could have what?
You could have not sucked dick.
Don't say it. Don't say it. So I got a question for you, man.
Yeah,
You're saying different outfits. You have different walks for different outfits. Let's dive into that. So,
Dude, can you make a joke about my color blindness? I don't know what you're getting at right now.
all right. I think we're gonna. All right, guys, we're gonna choose what kind of color. All right, this is gonna be a hard one.
It's my light. I know all the colors are white. All right, so you can't fool me. You want to point to like this bottom part here? Okay.
All right, what color is it?
Green. Emerald.
That's wrong. That's blue. Oh, this is easy. It's easy.
Bin Laden.
Okay. What country do you think about when you think about this one color?
Yeah, the yellow's kind of weird on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that just looks.
You know what? You know, as much as I appreciate the joke setup and everything.
No, it's not it.
What do you mean?
I mean, the light bar is pretty cute and all, but
Yeah. You trying to hit yellow, right?
yeah, try to.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is like, I appreciate the joke setup and like, you know, but the thing is our editors are all Asian, so like I don't want to. I try disrespect.
No, dude,
I love you, Nikki.
Dude, Nikki, I freaking love you too. But I'm just gonna leave it.
Bro, give me the flipping remote.
I'm about to break
This guy apparently can't even decide what color. I can't even decide. Boom, back to that. I like that color. I like that color
Actually, yeah,
right there.
I prefer blue any day.
Purple, dude.
Anyway, what are we even talking about? So different walks for different outfits.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. What were you trying to get?
So tell me, so you said like an outfit, you have like a different walk to yourself when it. So like, what kind of walk goes with this outfit that you got going on?
So this outfit right here is definitely got like that walk where like, you know, I'm kind of like ripping off the toes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So,
exaggerate.
Pitch almost.
Yeah. No. No, I'm not walking on my toes. I'm ripping off the toes. So like it starts from my heel, and then like when I come up, I like kind of like do like a calf raise. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At the end of it, just straight bro walk.
that's cool.
But you know how like when you wear like either dress shoes or like something with like a strong heel, it has like that knock on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and some part of you exaggerates it a tiny bit in your walk. You know what I'm talking? You gotta let them know, dude. You know what I'm talking about. You gotta let them know. Yeah, you know. Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah, you gotta let them know. Yeah, let them know I'm in the building.
That's it.
Look at my outfit.
But
Butt looks nice in these pants.
in all respects to it, your butt looks good in all pants. Bro, Lance. All right. So Tom, going back to the whole subject, right?
I'm sorry, I got a semi now.
What are you sending?
What am I sending? All right, yeah.
All right, cool. So moving on to it. So one thing that I brought about this whole conversation was don't bend backwards for other people. All right. Super self-explanatory. You guys probably heard it a billion times, but here's a billion and one. Don't bend backwards for anyone, or at least for the majority of the people. Some people, it's worth it. Family, loved ones, significant others, and so on. They've proven to themselves, they basically prove themselves to you. And even at that, there's a tipping point, right? There's a specific amount that you're expected to do, and then you're going to do, and that you're like, all right, cool. I'm going to stop her right there because I can't anymore.
Yeah, it's like the classic idea of like there's certain people in your life who you're like, you know what, I care about them enough to where I'm willing to figure this out. You know, I'm willing to figure this out. I'm not necessarily willing to compromise on like my beliefs or anything, right? But I'm willing to, you know, hold their hand along the process in getting them to understand me, getting me to understand them, you know, instead of, you know, kind of like maybe what I've, you know, somewhat preached before, what it sounds like at least. It's like the moment there's like a disagreement in something that's like somewhat, you know, important or somewhat deep, it's like, oh, red flag, this person's not for me. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I had a moment today. I was at Costco and I was getting paper towels. Old white guy, retired veteran, had the whole trip on. And for sure voted for Trump. You know?
My guy.
Dude, I dabbed him up hard. But when I when I got the paper towels, he's like, did you know? I'm like, did I ask? He's like, did you know that like the paper towels don't come singly wrapped anymore? I'm like, no way. You had to play with it, right? You had to just go with it. I was like, no way. Why'd they do that? He's like, yeah, I used to sell them individually. And my boss told me, I'm like, okay, keep going, that like I have to sell this individually. And if if it's unwrapped, then I can't sell it because it's this and that. And I had no cares about this conversation. Exactly how how you're acting now, you're like, okay, that's exactly how I was. So I was like, dude, good luck with that, buddy. And I walked away. So like, I wasn't gonna like, if it was like one of the boys, if it was like a loved one or something, that would be like, oh, well, let's see what we can do. Let me go on Google real fast to try to like look at any other brands or maybe Sam's Club. Maybe Sam's Club might have it, dude. Screw Costco. But the guy was like, dude, I don't care to even talk to you right now, bro. I got a billion other things to do right now. But just hop back on your wheelchair and just freaking crawl back to the cave that you came back from, bro. But that was the whole point of it. It's like I wasn't going to invest my time, or at least any more time, into that conversation without like, yeah, because I respect it. I already had so much time. Now, maybe if you came up to me or someone else, then I would have been like, you know what? I got time for you.
I mean, if I came at you with that conversation, the first thing you would say, why are you talking about this? Just shut the hell up.
Facts.
Because I almost did it to you right now.
Facts.
But then you pieced it together really well. It's I think what's really cool is, especially as like Muslims, especially as Muslim men, you know, our whole life we've been kind of like challenged with our beliefs, you know. And it's a challenge that, you know, for some reason, even as a kid, as a kid, it was, well, obviously it was difficult for me to like, you know, welcome that challenge and respond well to it. I actually remember the kind of a cute story, but I remember it was literally like, it was either preschool. What comes first, preschool or kindergarten? Kindergarten. No, preschool, right? Preschool, okay. This was like either
preschool.
Yeah. And then kindergarten.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Kindergarten is such a weird name. Anyways, I think it's German.
Really?
Yeah. So I think I think it was literally first grade. It must have been first grade. 'Cause I remember it was like the last year before we went to Lebanon. I started Lebanon in second grade. So it was first grade. I remember being in class and it was just the randomest thing ever. And the teacher goes on to talk about something. I forgot what it was, but then she goes on, she opens up this discussion about like, you know, Jesus, and Jesus died for, you know, Jesus died on the cross for
This is in Lebanon?
no, this was in America, bro. First grade. And I remember I was just like, bro, imagine me, a first grader, right? Literally in the middle of class after she said that, I was like, no, no, and she was like, what? I was like, no, Jesus didn't die on the cross. It was somebody else made to look like Jesus, right? And the thing is like, you know so little as a kid, so you come at them with like this wild
Conviction, bro.
this wild angle of the story.
You knew yourself.
Like, everyone was just like, you know what? Like, it was literally first grade. I was like, no, Jesus didn't die. He was saved by God, and somebody was made to look like him in order that he was. And like, and then like one of the like, it was like the assistant teacher comes up to me. It was just like, it's okay, Mustafa. It's okay. Just don't worry. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. And I remember in my mind,
It's okay.
I remember I was literally just this was like first grade for us was like
9/11.
oh, it was. Huh? I think it was like maybe
first grade, bro. First grade for us was 2001.
It was, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
that was fresh.
So, anyways, so she's like trying to calm me down, and I
Shout out first grade, bro.
I'll about to say shout out 9/11. You know what? This is kind of a tangent here, but should we like sign a petition to make like September the terrorist awareness month?
Dude, it's been like that. It's been an unspoken terrorist awareness month.
I know, but I feel like it's very like anti.
Well, we give out freaking medals for the terrorists of the year,
Participation points,
a Nobel blast prize, like
a Nobel Prize. We're like a Nobel Prize. We're like a no survivors prize.
Yikes, bro.
What are we talking about again? Know your worth.
Oh
my god. Anyways,
know where you stand.
no,
Everywhere.
oh my god. All right. So anyway, so this teacher tries to calm me down and just tell me like, yo, but just shut your mouth. You know what I mean? She's trying to say something. Shut your mouth. And it was one of those things where I became so emotional. I was like, why doesn't anybody believe me? You know what I mean? It was the first grade, bro.
Where's my mom?
Yeah, for real. This was the first grade, and I remember it was kind of it's one of those things where it was like I felt passionate to kind of like
Speak up.
to speak up about my faith, and you know what I mean? It was what I believed to be the truth, you know? Obviously, I was in the first grade, and there's an element of wisdom that was clearly, missing from having such a conversation, but nonetheless, I remember getting emotional. But, as you grow older, and it's like so many things challenge your faith, challenge your beliefs, you know what I mean? Muslims are always constantly under this microscope where it's like, bro, I'm telling you, bro, I make jokes about this, but like, I'm so good at reading people's body language, right? That I'm convinced people look at me and they're just like, yo, man, like, let's be nice to this one. You know what I mean? Just in case. And it's like, cool, people respect me off the rip,
If I didn't know you, I'd probably be nice to you.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Especially when I had a unibrow. Oh, Lord. You know what I'm saying? I had a flip and it was a connection all right here, my guy. You know what I mean? Like it was.
Could we give the editor a picture of you?
And we'll definitely just
throw it on.
Well, I had unibrow BB. But anyways, so we're constantly under like not pressure, but we're constantly under like this kind of like fight to preserve our own beliefs, to fight for what we believe in, And so that fight has definitely become easier and easier over time. But it's always interesting how, you know what, I feel like we went on so many flipping tangents. I don't even know what I was trying to connect it to, but let me connect it to this.
No, but you're basically trying to get to, like, you're standing on your belief.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to speak for what you thought was right.
Right.
And with time, and that was a first grade BB.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, with time, with experience and conversations and arguments and different trials and tribulations, eventually it molds you into a specific person,
Right.
or it really tests who you are.
Yeah, and you
So that thus you got to know yourself,
right,
your worth.
and you got to become confident in what it is that you believe, and you get to a point where like it literally doesn't phase you anymore.
No.
You know, most people who like throw a slight jab or a slight comment, which alhamdulillah I don't get much of, but whenever it does come up, it's one of those things where it just doesn't bother me. You know,
I'm very witty and sometimes petty,
mm-hmm.
that I just hit him back with something.
For sure. But I mean, even like when you see something online, people have like this crazy overreaction. They go into the comments to, you know, try to, you know, absolutely flipping, you know, say the most eloquent response, but it just comes out sounding ridiculous, you know? And it's one of those things, I see those videos and I just go, meh, you know?
What's the point?
It really doesn't bother me. And a lot of that confidence in your belief has to start with the simple concept of that if you don't choose your indoctrination will choose you. And at the end of the day, I wake up every morning, I go to sleep every night, and I say, I choose Islam. You know what I'm saying? I choose Islam. And it's something I'm proud of, something I'm confident in, you know? It's always like whenever I go into anything, whether it's, you know, I'm going to go, you know, be productive for, to make money in the business, even stepping into this, right? We always talk about content ideas that, by the way, are so far out and we know would be flipping hilarious to see online. But there's always this barrier of, you know what? It might come off as disrespectful or inappropriate from my faith standpoint, right? So that immediately kind of like changes what it is that we do. Today, so far, we started out a little wild, I'm not going to lie. But nonetheless, choose your indoctrination, right? Your indoctrination, when you choose it, choose the best one, by the way. Don't go choosing anything, right? And definitely don't let something choose you. And when you choose your indoctrination, you follow it true and true, you will develop that confidence in your personality because you know that your personality is being guided by something that gives you a higher purpose.
Yep.
So I wanted to mention that.
Oh, that's obviously super important.
It took me a while to get there, but there you are.
No, we did it, dude. A couple terrorist jokes later, we're here, bro.
Still here. 2 planes later.
Damn. So like that, to continue on with it, another thing that I really want to speak about is don't lose yourself trying to make other people happy. Right?
Go ahead. But sorry, I literally just had like an epiphany where I remembered what I was trying to get to in the beginning. But yes, it relates to this as well. So continue on.
Sweet. So hold that thought. So don't let yourself, like, don't lose yourself trying to make others happy. Now, that goes for anyone, right? Loved ones and so on and so forth. Like, I know, like in high school, for example, many people kind of fall victim to this. And maybe even a little bit in college, where they're trying to fit in and they still haven't really figured themselves out. And they try to figure in or like fit into other groups, right? And with that, they might try to mold themselves or try to be the class clown or always trying to be funny or always trying to be something that they're not in order to amuse the general public. And that's sad. That's what social media is about. Yeah, so all these other people are constantly scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, you know, social media outlet. And I'm seeing people that are not as genuine. And it's very sad to see, besides freaking cringe, right? But it's sad to see because, like, yo, like, what are you doing? Is this really you? Whenever you see a girl that's like just posting explicit pictures of herself and of her body, not even of herself, it's her body, and she's like just thirsty for likes and that attention, Like, I don't respect that at all. And it's sad to see because, like, as a Muslim, right? And as an Arab as well, we're always like saying to ourselves, don't look at that person, to that girl or to that woman, because that could be someone's sister. That's someone's daughter. And we always have that little like guilt trip in the back of our minds. And I'm thinking like,
have shame.
it's a shame. And like, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, of course you're like, oh, wow, what a pick. And then like, not even that. That is like a quick second, but then automatically it's like, this is disgusting, dude. It's disgusting because like, yo, what the hell are you doing? And like, you're just trying to make the general public happy just for a couple more likes. You're losing your morals and you're losing yourself in order to make the vast majority of people who don't give no craps about you happy. And that's possibly diminishing your value in this world. Think about it. A woman's like just sanctity, a woman's like aura, you know what I'm saying? Her body and like her innocence is that value, man. Is a huge value. And then I feel like personally, the more that they reveal themselves because it empowers them, it doesn't empower them, dude. So you're saying putting more clothes is oppressive, but putting less clothes is basically empowering? Who are you really empowering? Are you empowering yourself or are you empowering all the other men that freaking force that into you? So it's like that kind of linked it all in, and I kind of linked it before, but it's just, one, it's sad to see, but second, it's like you lose yourself trying to make other people happy. And then the years go by and you're like, I was young and foolish. And you probably end up with someone that doesn't care for you. You probably end up in a group of people that really don't care about you. And you're like, why is my life so unfulfilled? It's because you're living this life for other people. You're not the main character in your own life. You're living someone else's dream, or you're living in someone else's dream. You're not living in your dream. Like, your life is a freaking nightmare. You're making someone else's have like amazing dream, someone else's dream amazing. So that was my little spiel.
Yeah, I want to tie that into kind of a concept that I was thinking of, because you can really look at this in very different ways, right? There is a degree of consideration that you should have to people, right? You should be considerate of others, and you should also be considerate of yourself. You know, it should never be like so contrasting to where you're like 100% selfish, or you're, like you said, 100% trying to appease everybody, you know? And I think it's really, really important to find that balance between saying, hey, am I giving the right amount? Am I giving just to make sure, like, you know, to a degree, I'm not upsetting the people I care about? Or am I just giving so much I'm not getting anything back in return? And it was funny because it was an epiphany that I actually had in college. I feel like after high school, especially, well, high school was madness, bro. But after high school, especially, I kind of like kept going back and forth between like, finding myself. And then it's like, giving in too much to others, try to, once again, make people happy, right? And then same thing was like, no, but I am a man and blah, 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 blah. But then I would bounce back and I would just keep bouncing back and forth. And it was right before my last year at Cal State, right before my last year in college, I literally had an epiphany of myself. And I was just like, I'm going to stop being the entertainer, you know? Because it is one of those things where like, sure, I have a natural trait for it, you know? The goofiness, the energy. When I see people, I get hyped, right? But then it genuinely does get to a point where even when I'm exhausted, my mind is like, no, but you're that guy. You're that guy. You're that guy. And then it comes out fake. And then it comes out like I'm trying too hard. Now it comes out like I'm just trying to be an attention whore. You know what I'm saying? So then what ends up happening is the people who you first entertained, they were enjoying it. Now all of a sudden, they don't even want to be around you. You know what I'm saying? Literally went through all of these phases, you know? And so finally I put a cap to it. I was just like, I'm no longer people's entertainer. I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know? And then the real balance that I found kind of happened later on, because it was like, then I try to be very serious. You know what I mean? But then naturally, every time I would try that, I would naturally just go back to my goofy ways. But then when I would start to be goofy, sometimes I would just ask myself, like, do I need to make a comment right now? There's no need, you know? So I know when to play it by ear and whatnot. But it definitely is one of those things, because it's, when you give in too much, the reality of the situation is, one, you're not fulfilling people's needs. You're entertaining them. You're fulfilling a desire, but you're not fulfilling their needs, which means the moment they got a little bit of entertainment from you, or the moment they don't need your entertainment, you don't exist to them, right? And the second thing is when you make everybody in the room laugh, chances are nobody's paying you to do it. So none of your own needs are being met, you know? So it definitely is a dangerous path to go down. And to connect that to what I was trying to get to earlier, us as young Muslim men, what I think is so beautiful and so awesome is the fact that naturally, as long as you care about your Islam, even to a little degree, right? What do young Muslim men in America suffer from the most?
Fitna, like
Fitna.
fitna, yeah.
Absolutely. What would fitna be in English? Whatever. Temptation, right? And what I think is very, very powerful, but I think is just really, really awesome, is the fact that we're not motivated by these, by these sexual desires that will cause us to not just break the barrier of our beliefs in order to achieve this desire, but also does not, like, we're strong enough to where we don't put ourselves in a position to where we create this fake facade, right? What is known as an F-boy. We don't create this fake facade in order to manipulate someone to achieve that desire. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really, really cool. It's what's really, really awesome is when you really just, you put that into words for someone. Swear to God, in that moment, it's almost as if you started floating in their eyes. You know what I mean? In front of them, because they just start to see you with so much more respect in that moment. And I think that's super gangster. And it's one of those things where it's like, all men really should, you know, not just practice discipline, but put themselves in a position where they're asking themselves, when they're communicating with a potential, right? When they're communicating with someone, ask themselves the simple question: am I manipulating this person just for my own personal gain? Yes or no? And really break it down. Really hold yourself accountable. Don't just be like, well, no, it's just game. We're just flirting. No, be real about it. You know what I'm saying? Are you emotionally manipulating this person, being toxic or whatever, just in order that you can get a little action? Yes or no? Answer that question and then move forward.
And also, is that the end goal?
Is that the end goal? Absolutely. What are you gonna truly gain out of it? 10 out of 10 times, chances are you're gonna cut that conversation right there and move on to the next one.
So I have so you talked about like being straight up with women, and you know, the whole fitna, and not, alhamdulillah, us not being led by our desires, our sexual desires. I have a story. So it happened last Wednesday. So I'm out at the market and I'm working, and towards the last hour of the market, there's a customer. She's been coming for some time, and the week before, she came up to me. She's like, "Oh my God, there's a vendor that I bought from, and he wrote me his number and he said like, hey, call me. I'm interested in you." And then she was explaining how she's not interested in the guy, and like, just he's a nice guy, and he likes his products, his tamales, but she just doesn't have any sort of attraction. She just wants to be a customer. You know, now she feels forced to have some sort of conversation and kind of be a bit awkward and blah blah blah. So Wednesday happens, right? You know, the Wednesday just passed, and I see her. I'm like, updates. I need updates. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh, like the guy, I told the guy like I was buying tamales, and I told the guy like, hey, you know, I'm not really interested. The guy was like, oh, why didn't you text me? She was like, oh, because I'm not interested in you. Whatever. So we're just talking. I'm just talking to her like I talk to you. Just joking around, teasing a little bit, but none of it's flirtatious. None of it like, oh, your eyes though are really nice, or oh, your hair, your smile is really cute, by the way. Oh, none of that BS, right? Because I talk to you differently, baby. But so I'm having a conversation. It was a very innocent conversation, right? Absolutely nothing could have been interpreted as flirtatious. She's laughing. She's like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And then she just stops smiling. She looks at me. She's like, I have something to say. I'm like, what? And she was like, I like our conversations. I like how comfortable I am around you. And I like how I'm talking to you. And I don't feel like it feels good talking to someone that's not trying to get in my pants.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that verbatim.
You're not a threat.
And she felt comfortable enough then from there just to be like, yeah, I respect this guy. To then want to, get to know me a little bit more. It kind of stops. I was like, well, it's crazy. I mean, I kind of see you more of a customer than I do able to earn. But no, I should have explained to her. I was like, I respect it, but like, I'm not really interested.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, well, we could be friends. I'm like, we could be friends, but what are your intentions behind that? Like, I was asking her those questions.
Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around. Usually the man's like, it's all good. We could just be friends. No problem. No worries. You know what I'm saying? The girl's like, well, what are your intentions about it? And so on. It's usually that, but it's like the rules were obviously flipped. But I'm able to then control myself and not get too aroused and too excited, because obviously there's a girl
It's a layout
that's fairly attractive, and she's showing me some attention, and she's showing me like interest, like, hey, I want to get to know you a little bit more. Like, here's my number. Let's talk. I live down, like, I don't live too far away, and, I like our conversations and so on. So it's like, oh, this girl obviously likes me. But like, if I was to be your average male that just is led and had no self-control, then I would have been like, okay, yeah, we could definitely just be friends. That's freaking perfect. You only want to be friends with someone you're trying to hook up with. Because at the end of the day, when they hit you with the whole, so what are we? You're like, I thought we agreed that we're just both friends. F-boy. Stupid. It's manipulation and so on and so forth. From both, it's like, dude, it's like from the other parts, like, yo, if you expect that, joke's on you as well. Don't play the full-on victim. But it was funny that, like, how you brought that up. I was like, dude, that this whole story that happened last Wednesday ties in perfectly.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, in that F-boy situation,
be a man. Be a man. All stories, be a man.
It's important that you don't sacrifice what it is that you believe in just in order to, once again, satisfy a temporary desire. Which by the way, you're gonna wake up tomorrow and feel the same thing over again. You know what I mean? What are you gonna flip and go out and find another? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a negative cycle, a negative rabbit hole to go down. And yeah,
I think I talked to you about this before, but in the Quran, it says good men are for good women, right? And I was having a conversation with one of my friends who's married, and he was saying, like, yo, if you are looking for a good woman, medic, ask yourself, are you a good man? Like, are you currently a good man? And it should have been like a simple yes, right? But it hit me. And I was like, am I actually a good person? Am I a good man? Am I able to provide, or how is my deen? Is it a little shaky right now? Or am I pretty good? How's my character? How's my akhlaq? How is my everything else? Am I slacking on anything? Because God simply put it, look what Ed, if you're a good man, you're gonna get a good woman. But then you're like, subhanAllah, I get like a lot of tests happen to a lot of people, but it's like there are a lot of people that are not with good people. Feel me? So it's almost like, did you choose wrong, or are you actually just not that good of a person? Which kind of sounds super harsh to hear, right? But like I think about that. So whenever I'm messing up, or whenever I feel like I want to mess around or anything, get any sort of temptations or anything, I think I'm like, yo, whatever I'm doing now, is that going to be something that a future spouse would be proud of hearing?
Or proud of marrying?
Proud of marrying. And I just, 10 out of 10 times, that just stops me from stuff.
Right. No, I
Accountability.
I think it's accountability is huge, and I admire the moment of self-reflection there, you know, because to kind of like tie this whole conversation together, in order for you to know your worth, a lot of self-reflection. You have to have a lot of conversations with yourself.
You got to know yourself.
You have to know yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to, through your self-reflection, you have to decide, what do I want to be? What do I want my personal brand to be known as, right? And then you have to hold yourself accountable to what those ideals are. So I admire the moment of self-reflection. I think it's really, really important to where even at our age, where we can say a lot about ourselves, about like in the sense of like we understand what our value as men is and blah blah blah, blah. I think truly the human being should always put their focus on how they can constantly become better, constantly reflect on, never really come to the conclusion that, oh, I am a good man. No, don't ever do that. Don't ever find yourself at a peak, because after the peak, it only goes down.
True, because with that mentality, there's nothing higher.
And there's arrogance.
You already achieved that.
Yeah.
You're already a good person, so you can't be anything better.
And there's arrogance, so chances are you're not even a good person.
Yeah.
Right? So you should constantly be self-aware where you're at, where you should be, and constantly trying to improve yourself. So I love that. I love that whole connection right there. And, you know, to kind of like close this out, or start to close this out a little bit, I think it really is one of those things where it's like, you know, alhamdulillah, through my experience going through like different social scenarios and stuff like that, where I put my beliefs first. I've put my values, my morals first. It always put me in a position where people had respect for me, you know? And it was really interesting, because I actually even recently just saw some of those people, connecting it back to like student government back at Golden West. I walked in with like a very very obvious cap on my head. You know what I mean? People were just like, yo, what's that? You know? And I was like, boom, Islam, don't touch me. You know what I mean? And I was always very strict about everything. And I saw those people recently, and they still hold me to a high regard, you know? They still watch what they say around me. And it's one of those things where you got to look back at that old saying where it's like, would you rather be feared but respected?
Mm-hmm.
Or would you rather be liked by everyone but not respected by anyone? You know? And self-reflection, ask yourself that question, you know? And once again, don't go around being, you know, an overly aggressive, mean person, right? But be the type of person where you hold your values and your beliefs so strong that people check themselves when they're around you, in order to, like you said in the beginning, not overstep those boundaries.
Yep.
They know their limits around you. So I think it's dope.
Boom.
Bam.
That was a great way to wrap it up, to be honest.
Thanks, my G.
All right, baby, take it away.
There's another episode of the King of Average podcast, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you made it all the way to the end. If you did, and you found even a second of this worthy of your time, we would definitely appreciate a comment, a like, and send a subscribe. And we will catch you on the next episode. Peace.